Hey guys, welcome to another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about, for starters, some of the comments that our owners has made, and our CEO as well. Um, I did not particularly like, let's just say it. I found it disturbing. Both comments, for different reasons, I found disturbing, and if they actually think what they said is true, then we're in for like a rough time and concerning time, considering they are actually in charge of making the footballing decisions. So yeah, I'll get into that, and I'm also going to talk about whether I think Carrick should get the permanent job. And lastly, I'm going to talk about if I owned Man United, what I would do. That's just a little fun thing I decided to add. So yeah, let's get into it. So first things first, we have to talk about the comments that our owner has made. So first of all, I don't know what he's talking about, immigration, when he lives in Monaco and he refuses to pay his own tax. So like, first of all, he shouldn't be talking about UK politics, and he shouldn't be talking about immigration because he went to Monaco to avoid paying tax, and basically immigrated there. So it's kind of rich coming from him. Uh, Ironic even, and like the fact you don't live in UK, so like you have no right to talk about UK. Like I don't also have any right to talk about UK because I live in Canada, so he certainly doesn't either. And you partially own a club that's built on immigrants, so you should really be thinking about the words you say. So I thought it was very poor coming from our owner. Um, yeah, and it just goes to show he says he wants to put Manchester back in Manchester, but I don't even think he knows what that means. And I sincerely doubt he even supported Man United in the past. I think that was a huge that was his first biggest lie. And yeah, I have zero faith in like him making us great again, and I'm just praying that he leaves us. The second thing I want to discuss is our CEO saying that like we had a like our financial profit that we had. First of all, there's technicalities in that, but I don't really want to go into it. But like things he said, that like he's happy that like our field, the actions we've taken on the field is showing on our finance. But the thing with that is you just sacked Amarim. We even have Fletcher. We have like 3 managers in 2026. We're gonna have 4 probably once we hire the permanent manager. So if you have 4 managers, you've not really had a successful season on the pitch, have you? So it's kind of weird hearing from the CEO that like our on-field actions are betterment of our finances, because 4 managers. So I don't see these on-field actions, and any success we get this season, like let's say we get Champions League, it's not going to be because of Ineos, because they refused to sign anyone in January, and they refused to back any of our managers. So I think it's just going to be luck, because that's basically what they did. They rolled the dice. So that's my thoughts on that. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is Michael Carrick. So do I think Michael Carrick deserves to be the permanent manager? Honestly, there's reasons that like, look, if he wins the Premier League, obviously he should be the Man United manager. Anyone that wins the Premier League for Man United, I say they deserve 5 years, maybe 10, 20. Give them a lifetime contract if they win the Premier League. But let's face it, that is not going to happen. So For me, if he could get us the Champions League, I think he's done a good job. But I would not personally give him the permanent uh, offer, because for me, there's certain things that are troubling me. For example, the brief that like the club keeps putting out, that like he's he significantly lowered the intensity in training. He lets them take breaks in midweek. We're not so, and we're obviously not playing as many games as we did last season. So that's actually showing on our performances. I personally don't think it's a good idea to be letting players have holidays when they had a shit season. Like, if anything, we should be working them harder, so they could like get us in the Champions League. Now, there's a good chance we will get Champions League because we only need like 5 wins and 2 draws now. But I do not like hearing it from the club that's happening, and it's showing in the performances. So that is one thing that's troubling me. And another thing that's troubling me is I just don't see what Michael Carrick's long-term plan with the players is. If we got, like, let's say Nagelsmann, Luis Enrique, Conte, you know what they're gonna do. So you could recruit players to suit that. With Michael Carrick, I don't know who we should sign to like get the best out of his system, because I don't know what his long-term plan is. So for those two reasons, I would not want Michael Carrick to be the long-term manager, because I just don't see the vision, and I don't like that he's lowered the intensity in training. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. So lastly, the third thing I want to discuss, and this is a little fun thing, but what I would do if I like suddenly bought like Man United. So let's assume, for example, I've got like billions and billions to spend. So the first thing, and that's something like I think every Man United fan could agree on, is we clear the debt. So the debt is, I think, holding us back in so many capacity, because I think there's so much more we could do with regards to development of the stadium, spending money on transfers, and so yeah, the first thing I would do is clear the debt. Yeah. So the second thing I would do is I would go back to Ragnick and ask him if he wants to be the consultant again, because Ragnick's such a great like footballing mind, and I regret that we couldn't like utilize more of him while he was here, and we just let him go. I wish like we kept on to him. A lot of things would be different right now. So I would definitely go back and get him as consultant. And what another thing that like for me that bothers me is so the club needs to be split into the marketing side, the footballing side, marketing and business side, the footballing side, and an investment side. So I think there needs to be like multiple aspects of this club, and right now I don't see that. So that's one of the things I would introduce. I'll explain what I mean in a bit. Okay, so before everyone gets confused, what I mean by having 3 CEOs and for three different departments, well, I think a club the size of Man United needs like a club president, like Real Madrid and Barcelona like have, but like I think our marketing and business side is so huge that it's technically its own thing, and you definitely need like a CEO operating under the president, just running that aspect of it, looking and scouting for like brand collaborations we could do. Like this is something that like I'm just a fan. I don't have no knowledge of marketing to the extent like I'm sure some people at Man United probably do, but like hello, we have a women's team, and you're telling me we can't like call like Chanel or yeah, like Chanel, let's just go with that, right? you telling me we can't call Chanel and like actually do a brand collaboration? Like, we have a women's team, so that is concerning to me. Like, I could come up with that idea. You're telling me there's no one at Man United that's willing to like even pick up a phone and have that conversation? So that's just one example of things they could do. There's various other things they could do. So I would like have a marketing restructuring of the marketing department at Man United. I would want an in-house marketing team, but also an out-house marketing team, because like, I always say there's stuff that like someone could come up with, but like that might be great, but you might have something from an outside, like a person from like that's not on the inside, someone from the outside looking in, that might give you an even better suggestion. So it's good to have like various like think tanks in the room. So I would that's how I would split it up. I would get an in-house marketing team and an out-house marketing team. I would get a CEO to like manage all that and look for as many brand collaborations as I can, pretty much. And on the footballing side, so Omar Berrada, I might shift Omar Berrada to the marketing and business side, because I think he could deal with that better than the footballing side, because he's made so many blunders on the footballing side. I would not trust him to be my CEO. And I would get rid of Wilcox too as sporting director. He's done so many mistakes. I would not keep him around. And so then on the footballing side, I would hire, let's say I want to like hire Nagelsmann as my dream manager, or it might be Luis Enrique, it might be Antonio Conte. I would look for people that have actually worked with them in the past. So with Nagelsmann, if it's Nagelsmann, I would go and see who's the CEO that he worked with in the past, who's the sporting director, who's the academy director, who are the scouts some of the scouts that he's worked with, and I would bring those people to Man United and work from there. So then there's like a kind of synergy. Whereas right now, I think it's a mix up. Like, I don't really know what kind of synergy we have. Like, one of the things that I hated under like Ruben Amorim was that like our sporting director had this brilliant idea that like we're gonna play a completely different style of football that Amorim's trying to implement and in the first team to our academy. That made it very difficult for the academy players to like develop into our first team. I would say it was nearly impossible, because they were playing like total like different type of systems in football to what the first team was playing. So I would not want that if I was the owner. So I would want a synergy. So if I would want the academy playing the same style of football and system that Nagelsmann's trying to implement. This is what like top clubs like Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal do with their managers. So that's something I would want at Man United too. It's some of the basic stuff, but it's surprising that like our owners, current ones, don't want to implement. So that's something I would do. And lastly, I would have another separate department for like investments in like other sports. So it could be F1 racing, it could be a basketball team, it could be a cricket team, but most importantly, I will look for clubs that are struggling financially and try to support them. This would be a good way to like improve our brand portfolio like across the world, and and grow our like worth to like millions of fans. And it would be kind of touching that like club like a Man United size who has had struggles of their own is helping other clubs get out of their struggle. So that is something I would look at. Also, I hate the fact that like the current owners are like basically neglecting our like women's team. I think they deserve they deserve to be taken seriously because it's we have a really good team. I feel like we could like win more trophies, but like obviously they need investment put into the team. So if I was the owner of Man United, what I would do is, first of all, I would get like a top tier sporting director for the women's side too, just like the men's team, and I would basically say, along with a sporting director, I will get a CEO too. So those two are the minimum, and like proper scouts, like some of the best in Europe, or you could say the world. And I would tell them, I want Man United's women's team to win the Champions League, the Premier League, and as many trophies as possible. I want them to be number one in every aspect. So I want you to go out there and like deliver that for me. I'll give you as many resources as possible. So I would try to change that, because I'm tired that like our current owners basically neglect the women's team. So I feel like if we have a women's team, we should try to use them more, and give them the proper investment so they could dominate in the women's game just like the men's. So that's another thing that I would change. And another thing people will talk about is the stadium. Personally, I actually went to Old Trafford last year, and I actually enjoyed the atmosphere. For me, it's gonna suck if Old Trafford's like tore down. What my dream scenario is, I look at Real Madrid's Bernabeu. So if we could do something like that, so I would like get in touch with the architects that worked on Bernabeu, and maybe other Qatari architects, and like architects from Netherlands, USA, UK, and get them in a room and say, I want you guys to so I would tell them, I want you guys to basically reconstruct Old Trafford in a way that like encompasses like our history, and keeps much of what Old Trafford is right now intact, but like puts it in a way that it's more modern. And so I would go from there. Those are some of the things I would say. And I would say it will be also important if Old Trafford could like keep some of its value from the past, because I think that's very important too. So that's some of the things I would like pitch them. And another thing with Old Trafford that I feel like we're not using much of it in terms of marketing, because I feel like we could, I don't know why we don't pitch this to Adidas, but like why don't we do like kind of like a fashion kit launch, where like we could just get all of our kits for the season, and we could do a big launch event at Old Trafford. You could get like Santan Dave, Central C, Stormzy, Harry Styles, Blackpink, whatever. You could get like various singers to come perform at Old Trafford while you're launching your kits for the season. You could even find a lot of vendors like Chanel, Rare Beauty, whatever, like whatever floats your boat. So get in touch with a lot of those vendors. Create a big event while you're launching the kits. That's something I feel like we could do more of personally. So that's something I would do if I was the owner too. And so yeah, that's the end of the video. If you like the video, make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next videos. Cheers.